Do you know exactly how anti-Indigenous racism came to the Americas? Do you know who brought it there? Europeans created out of thin air ideas of racial difference as they encountered the people they were colonizing. Spain was the first to colonize parts of the Americas. And I think we all know the story, right? In 1492, King Ferdinand, Queen Isabella sent Columbus to find an easier sea route to the Asian markets. And his policies toward the Arawaks were genocidal and aimed at extracting as much gold as possible. And as you may know, Columbus was eventually brought back to Spain in chains. Now, Columbus may seem the primary target of this video, and he wrote some really racist stuff in his diaries, but we have bigger fish to fry here. First, we must remember that Columbus did not invent the notion of race. He bought into the ideas of blood purity, or limpieza de sangre, that had been floating around Spain since the mid-1400s. Those limpieza de sangre laws in Spain were basically aimed at religious purity for Christians. Columbus was the first to take those ideas of blood purity and apply them to the indigenous. Not only did Columbus use the word race to refer to the indigenous, but he also expressed another rationalization for what would become slavery, genocide, and colonization, that of converting the indigenous to Christianity. The Catholic Church, specifically Pope Eugene IV, for example, specifically sanctioned Portuguese trips to West Africa to purchase human beings for the purpose of enslavement in the 1440s. And Pope Nicholas V, in a papal bull in 1454, and Alexander VI, in papal bulls from 1493 and 1494, explicitly approved of Spanish and Portuguese colonization of the Americas along religious lines, because the indigenous were not Christian. So what began in the 1400s and 1500s as a feeling of religious superiority, over the years morphed into also becoming racial superiority. Armed with papal approval and motivated by profit, European colonizers constantly used the Bible to justify their colonization and genocide and enslavement of the indigenous. Many European colonizers interpreted the many biblical references to slavery in Israel as permission to do it themselves, and rationalized it by claiming that they were aiming to help or save the indigenous. Colonizers viewed their actions as righteous. One biblical passage, for example, that the enslavers would have used to rationalize their behavior would be Ephesians chapter 6, verses 5 through 7. And I've got to read this. Servants, be obedient to them that are your masters according to the flesh, with fear and trembling in singleness of your heart as unto Christ. So it wasn't just Columbus, but also the Catholic Church, the Pope, and the Bible that played a very important role in the rationalization of slavery, genocide, and colonization, and eventually the formation of race. That's it. Have a good day. I hope that helped.